How to network at social events. That's what we're going to talk about in this video.
How to network at social events really can be completely different than networking. It's a completely different environment. So what would you say is the biggest difference for networking at a social event?
Mindset. Mindset is because you are not there for business. This is a social event. So there's even question, Roger, about should you even take business cards? Say if you've been invited to someone's home for a social event, it might be somebody that you know from work, but this is not a work event, but you've been invited to their home. You probably should leave business cards in the car. Don't even take them in.
So all the rules or all the networking tips are really different for networking at a social event.
Some may overlap, but there are a little bit of differences. So you're not there to network for business, so you wouldn't take a business card, but you do want to make sure that when you get there, especially if it's a small gathering, you want to make sure that you take the time to introduce yourself and mingle with every person there.
That's really good because we get invited to a lot of social events. And people may have already heard of us and they may come up to you and say, hey, I want to talk to you about etiquette, or I want to talk to me about plumbing. And I don't carry cards. I normally don't carry cards, unfortunately, a lot of time, even at networking events, which that's a bad rule. Networking at a social event is more about building the relationship, is it not?
Right. It's about getting to know people because you're invited to a more intimate setting. And so you want to make sure that you understand dining etiquette. There's probably going to be a meal there. So you want to make sure you're comfortable at the table, especially if it's in a home and somebody is serving you in the home. Make sure that you understand the alcohol rules. Don't over drink. Now that's a rule that we also talk about in other videos for business networking. You never want to get drunk at these events, but you want to make sure that you bring a gift when you come to a social event. Take a bottle of wine when you go to somebody's home, or if you're going to an event and you've been invited somewhere, take a host or hostess gift.
So the networking tips that you give out, where it's about other people. When you go to a social event, it really is them inviting you a lot of times just into their home.
Right.
And building those relationships, those can lead to amazing business relationships because there's a lot of people we network with, we've been to their homes.
Right. And when we go, we make sure that we are very gracious and grateful that we were invited there. And another social event that you could be invited to is maybe to play at a charity golf tournament. Maybe you're invited to a charity event. This is also more social and not business networking. And so when you go and you've played in several charity golf tournaments.
I didn't drink at all.
And so you have to understand that you're there to have fun. You're there to contribute and to help a great cause. And so these are things that we have to keep in mind is what are we there for? What's the purpose of this event?
You mentioned playing golf for a social event. This is still business networking, and you're going because the invitation or the relationship that you've made, someone in your social circle has invited you into something special to them. It may be Christmas at a house, it may be a Christmas party. Like you said, it could be a golf tournament, it could be a wedding, it could be Absolutely. A lot of different things. And you always want to remember that business networking is, you always want to be the professional person in whatever venue or event you're at.
You want to maintain your composure, make sure you're there to add value, make sure you understand that you were not invited there to eat and to drink and to consume the food there. You're there to contribute something for someone, whether it's a charity event, whether it's at somebody's home. You're there for the conversation and for the relationships. And I think that's the main thing that you want to take away from this video is when you're networking at social events, you just want to make sure you maintain your professional image.
What all would you consider a social event that someone may get invited to?
Well, I think the first and foremost is charity events. Once you get in to start networking, people have causes that are very important to them. Once you're invited to come to these events, then that is special. And so you need to make sure that if you can attend. And if you can contribute and give to that cause, you want to make sure that you give whatever you can to that, because that's special to someone. The other event is to be invited to someone's home, whether it's for a wedding shower, maybe they have children getting married or having children, or maybe it's like a holiday party. You're invited to a home, or even to a restaurant or an event center. You're invited there because somebody thinks enough of you in a business setting to help you cross over into a more social setting. And that's a huge gift.
And to me, one of the biggest social events you can get invited to is just to someone's house for dinner. And you always want to remember to be that professional. If we've said anything here that has struck you as maybe something you wish you'd have done, or you've done things that maybe we hadn't mentioned yet, networking in a social event is completely different. So if you've got some comments that you'd like to give us, please leave a comment down below. And if you hadn't done so yet, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on anything. And we'll see you on the next video, where we help you grow your net worth networking.